Okay.
Hello everybody, welcome to this video. We are here in Marabá, Pará, Brazil. It's at the entrance of the Amazon. It's the start of the forest. And we are here on the 29th of June 2012. And we are in the middle of a community, so you hear many voices. I would like to introduce you to Hélio, and he will explain who he is now. Please, Hélio, who are you?
Me, I am Hélio. That's how you pronounce my name in English, Hélio, in Português. Yeah, but people call me Hélio. I was born here in the region, Marabá, and my parents too, born here. And my grandparents too. It's been so at least 3 generations living here in the same town. And I was lived outside Marabá for a while. I studied at the university in Brasilia, the capital of Brazil, and I graduated in English and Portuguese. That's what I like to do. I like languages. And my parents encouraged me doing that. You know, they believe study is something important. And I've been an English teacher for quite a while now. But I also like, not only languages, I also like connecting to people, to other parts of the world. I like meeting people from different cultures, seeing how their lives really is there in that country, you know, and this drives me. It's an energy that makes me go on, you know, making friendships. And my family is composed of, most Brazilians are composed, you know. One of my grandparents was Portuguese, another was African, another was indigenous. So I'm not saying that I am any of that. I'm not European, I'm not African, I'm just Brazilian, mixed. And this is what I like about myself and about my country, because most people in Brazil are like that. We like to see ourselves as multicultural, and we mostly like to welcome what is different. You know, this is what I feel about myself. I like to see life from other perspectives, other point of views. So I've been living in Marabá, teaching, but I decided to do something greater, something better. I wanted to record life here in Marabá, what it is like today. But then I thought, why don't I go back in the past? And I started remembering what my mother told me about their childhood here in Marabá, how they lived, how life was so different 50 years ago, when it was just a small village, and the economy in the village was based on just fruit gathering, just collecting Brazil nut from the forest. All around the town was just dense forest. All around this, there were Indians, real tribes living just near Marabá. And I remember my uncle telling me they would go into these what they called farms, you know, castanhais, to collect the Brazil nut. And this would they would bring to town, and they have these huge warehouses where they put the Brazil nut, huge amounts of Brazil nut to be exported. And that's what life was about. And I heard people telling me about the folklore about the big monsters that lived in the rivers, and you know, the dolphins that live in the rivers, and they would become men in one night just to date the girls. And all these folklore, all these stories are wonderful. I would like to put that in a book too. But then I would like to put all that mixed with the reality that we face today. Just over these years, 50 years, life from that simple village became totally different. Like, we are connected to the world, we are totally different. We are not just that small village. We are the world here in Marabá. We are cosmopolitan. There are people from all parts of Brazil now living here, huge farms, all the forests are gone, and we see just people asking, what happened to Marabá? You know, like my parents' friends, sometimes we talk about that. I see them talking and see these farms. There are not even one tree, like this huge tree that existed called castanheira, the Brazil nuts tree. This huge, they're all gone. And there are gold mines, and there are iron mines, and there's a huge company just beside the town here. And there are lots of engineers and people, you know, living in Marabá. And I like to put that on a piece of paper, showing how this changed from a simple, naive village into this huge, colossal, worldly thing that Marabá has become. But also I would like to connect what Marabá is now to the rest of the world. What can Marabá produce? What can Marabá do to the world? How can we help? I was thinking of maybe setting up a lab where people could, where schools could connect to this lab through the internet, and the students would have their partners here in Marabá, and with the help of their biology teacher, for example, they would dissect a fish from our river and see what it is like through an internet connection, or some plant from the region. This exchange of information could help us show the world a bit of what we really have in Marabá. And also thinking about our culture, we have still little groups that still perform old dances, or there are now painters who paint the sites of Marabá, and I'd like to show that to the world in a way. And I think this idea of dignity is something that touches me profoundly, because when I see people trying to show what dignity really is, what we really should be like, we shouldn't be afraid of other people, we shouldn't be feeling down because other people are rich and we are not, or whatever the way it is, we feel down because of something. And I see this project trying to show us this. It's what I feel like I have always tried to do. Try to connect. We are all one. We are all the same. We are not better than others, and others are not better than we are. We are just part of different. We are just live in different parts of the world, different thinking maybe, but that's makes the beauty of it. Yeah, we think differently, and I think this is basically what I am, what I think.
No, we had. I have to share with everybody. We went. I think on Sunday, you drove us to a village in the countryside, and there we were sitting, and you just took this fruit. I don't remember what was the name of the fruit.
Cacao.
Cacao, And you know, you were so skilled, you know, in opening it. You know, I had never seen that, you know. And then you said, "Oh, this is easy, you know. You should see the much harder fruit, which is the Brazil nut." You were talking, and as children, you would have learned how to open this very hard nut, very skillfully. Huh?
Yes.
And then you told us, and I just couldn't believe it. You know, I couldn't believe that we were driving kilometers after kilometer after kilometer, and there was no forest. And you said all this was dense forest. Just 40 years ago, and you were 42 now, huh? If I may share that.
Yeah.
So just when you were a kid, it's not long ago, everything was different. You could go to the forest and you could live off the fruits of the forest. You could swim in the river. The fish was good, and you could. And nothing is now, as you said just now. You know, we are in the middle of a very fertile area, and we should have fresh and healthy food. And what do we consume? We consume food from the supermarket that is far removed from the healthy food that could be here. Huh?
Yes, yeah, that's something.
All the fruits, I would, you know, perhaps you could say it was just the names, because for me all these names are kupuasu. I learned babasu. You know, all these names. Perhaps you could share some of them.
Yes.
Or whatever, you know. Well, how was it to be a child here?
Yeah, in the beginning of the 80s, at the end of the 70s, Marabá is still a small village, and I was about 10 years old at the time, and we could run free on the streets, and we didn't have to be afraid of crime, kidnappings, you know, just that. We would go swim in the river, and I did that a lot. You know, sometimes I went to places outside Marabá. There's this dense forest. We would just go inside the forest and see. It was different. It was not very far from town. It's just. I remember I was a Boy Scout, and we went to the campsite, to the army campsite, and I think that was one totally different day, because we were there on the weekend for 2 days, and this is still in my mind how I actually camped in a place like forest all around, you know, and you don't get to see that anymore. Fishing, we went fishing. You know, we had this cane, you know, the rod, throwing big, you know, catch fish. That I don't do that anymore.
And is there
here.
still fish to fish?
Fish has diminished a lot. The population of fish here in the rivers, in the area, in the pyramid.
Would you still swim in this river?
No, not today. I could go to the beach, you know, be there, you know, but I don't think I would like do that so often.
Right. No, I learned about the two rivers, that the Tocantins River is in the process of dying, and the other river is already full of mercury, and the fishes have died, and you wouldn't swim. And the children in Cabelo Seco, some are blind because the toxins, together with the trees, form particles when they enter. It seems to be that they make people blind.
Yeah, this is something that really has happened here because of mercury. Like there are some factories, I think that
upstream of
upstream they throw the waste in the river. Yeah, that happens, and the fish has diminished because of that. You know, and I wouldn't say that the river is as healthy as it were 30 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
And I also heard you said that, and I couldn't believe it. You know, first I didn't realize how large this state of Pará is. You know, it's just one state in Brazil, but you said it's and Dan said it's double the size of Western Europe. The only one state in Brazil, Pará. And then you said that you shared with us that one landowner might have 500,000 cattle. So these are no farms really here. These are huge, like countries almost. One farm.
Yes. Yes.
In Europe, you would have small countries like Switzerland. It would be one farm here.
I have this virtual friend from Norway. He works on a farm in Norway, and I asked him, how many head of cattle do you have on a farm? And he said 100. I said 100 really? And he asked, and how many cows do you have in a farm here? I said, here we have 500,000 head of cattle. And he went, what? He couldn't believe it because he's
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yes.
So the change, and all this was not there when you were a child.
No. The 70s, it was when the farms really began, you know.
And now it's an object of speculation. Also, the rich landowners, the landowners will buy and sell, and it's part of the.
Now it's mostly for raising cattle.
Right.
What?
For the meat production for the world.
Yes.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. So here is another, message to the world. Eat less meat, because here the forest has been cut just to put burgers.
Well,
on the plates of the world.
Yes, that's a big discussion. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. I stopped eating red meat for 10 years.
Okay.
I kind of believe that I could help.
Right.
Just one person.
Yes. Me too.
What can one person do? Stop eating meat? Nothing. But if 1 million stop eating meat,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Many. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's I think we can help. We can help a little. If each of us do some part.
No, I think what people are not aware. They buy cell phones, and perhaps 5 cell phones. I know people who have 5 cell phones, and they're not aware that somewhere the minerals that are in these cell phones have to be mined, or all the material we use in the world have to be mined somewhere. And here is the front line of mining also. It's the front line of mining, it's the front line of cattle production, it's the front line of kind of turbo production for the world, for the rest of the world. And when you buy a cell phone, you are not aware that here is the front line, and that you are fueling a kind of almost a war on nature. And that you are part of it, that you.
Yeah, I think we should be conscious about the things. We need to use the resources consciously. I believe that we can use, but we shouldn't exaggerate. This it's kind of the path in the middle, to choose, because when we consume too much, this causes imbalance. Like fish in all the oceans. I was watching a documentary on fish, that the fish in the oceans are diminishing drastically, and there was a solution. I think somewhere in Europe they thought that maybe, and they started spreading this idea that there were 3 kinds of fish. The fish were endangered, so they would have a red dot on those kind of fish. Fish were like midway being dangerous would be red sign, yellow sign on that. And the fish that were okay to eat, they had a green sign to eat. So in all the restaurants they had the menus, and all the menus that had fish on it, there was this green or yellow or red sign attached to the name. So people are now becoming aware that fish are disappearing.
Right.
So they would choose the green ones in order to preserve. Yeah.
When you think back 40 years, I would be interested to know, would you be able to survive just from the forest?
In the beginning, at the time, these farms, these castanhais.
You might have to explain what you mean by that.
Castanhais, or these farms, where people went to collect just Brazil nuts mostly, you know, and other
And
fruits.
these trees were growing wild.
Grown wild, yes. And they had this piece of land surrounding the forest, and they would collect the Brazil nut and bring it to town. That was every year they would do that.
And you call that farm? Why? Was it a kind of farm? No.
Yeah, it's called Castanhal. It's Castanhal is like Brazil nut farm, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And they would go into there, collect, and bring into town. And the next year they would do the same. So every year there was the harvest.
But you wouldn't do that. You were in town, so you would not participate in that.
No, that was before even there was 50 years ago. No, so it was before I was born. My uncle did that. You know, he would bring Brazil nuts to town, but the town was very small. There was not. You didn't need to have cell phone. You didn't need to have an Xbox or no video game. You didn't need all that kind of money to live. You know, the money would be just enough to have, you know, your house, your clothes, your food. It's very simple, like 50 years ago or 60 years ago, right? People was not connected to the world but today we need to be, I don't know, it's society demanding. You have to spend, you have to spend.
But perhaps I see that this is not the problem so much. You were sharing with me, and I admire you for that, that there are other demands, like you would be invited to drink together with your friends. You could have chosen another path for your career. So this is perhaps a pressure that is more destructive than cell phones.
Yes, I tried to escape this pressure of like drinking alcohol. You know, something I tried to avoid ever since I was a teenager. Because I always thought that I should be concerned with myself, my body, my visions of the world, and be somebody healthy and do something better. And when I see, well, today I have friends who have got drunk, you know, real heavy drinkers, and I was trying to escape this. You know, I like to go to bars and be friends with, you know, but I never drink. I'm with them. I have fun. I listen to music, live music, and things. I love that. But the part of
getting really comatose by drinking,
it's something
And also, what I observe now after being 2 weeks here in this part of the world is really the as if there is a kind of tsunami rolling over this city and this area. You know, first it took all the trees. You know, they were burned, or so these castanheira, Brazil nut trees, all gone. The forest all gone. So one tsunami, and then the gold miners coming, then the iron miners coming. So like a gold rush, an iron rush, and then now it's the pollution coming everywhere, and no escape. You know, even the food being poisoned, and then now as far as I have learned, there is a lot of drugs coming into the town, being given free, crack. And then you have the people being on crack, not just alcohol, crack much more dangerous. So as if this community is in a tsunami, in the way of a tsunami, or many tsunamis coming. So it's much more a frontline city than I have seen in other places. Very much a frontline city of all the kind of effects or consequences of the kind of economic system we are part of, that, you know, there should be more production, growth.
Yes, I think Marabá has a lot of people who are outsiders living really here, you know, being part of the community. They have set up their business, and you know, and this is kind of they also have. They already have these problems. They are part of the problem, you know. So I think they also know how to fight that, you know. And now, I don't know if my parents were younger, if they had lived that kind of style of life I told you, and suddenly this would be happening to them. Like this happened in the 80s, for example, or in the 70s, like it is right now. I don't know how they would survive this, you know, but me as being a third generation, I think different. You know, most of my friends I try to make friends with, they think differently, you know. It's like the kind of people I normally am with, you know, interact. But younger people, I don't know how they live, how they deal with all these problems, you know, like you mentioned, drugs and all. But this is a world thing, isn't it?
Oh, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
You said that to me that, you know, I told you about my background of my family being displaced, a displaced family in Europe, and you said that you also feel displaced.
Yeah.
You didn't have to leave the place.
Yes.
You were displaced by the fact that all around you changed.
Yes, it changed a lot. 30 years ago, in the 80s, the beginning of the 80s, I knew this town to be a place, a simple place, almost. Yeah, it was changing already, but it was much simpler than it is today. And it changed so drastically, you know, everything is so different from when I was a child to now, that it's like the culture just that existed before just disappeared. The words we used to speak, a little bit of the accent we had here disappeared, you know, and it's all, like I said, cosmopolitan, you know, people are here, you know.
No, I know.
And
I
I would like to protect this. I would like to protect. They are coming, but they are welcome. But I want them to still see that, you know, Marabá is some place that we have to care for, you know.
No, I see. You know, when I came with a bus from, you know, 16 hours tour from Teresina to Marabá, just by looking out of the window, I saw it was like a Wild West gold rush. Big machinery, you know, and big trucks being transported, as if there was some kind of El Dorado. And on Sunday we went to a city called El Dorado. So as if there is an El Dorado here, and everybody rushes. Big representations of all the big manufacturers of big trucks and big machinery. You know, everybody. So it's just. To my mind, you know, I understand when you say they are all welcome. To my mind, I identify with the human family as a whole. I would say I am a member of the human family as a whole, and I feel responsible for Marabá. I feel responsible for the Amazon as much as for everybody and all other regions. And I would say we as a human family, we have to sit together and look at the next generation and the future, and what must we do now so that our children will find a planet worth living on, and will be able to live dignified lives. Now it is as if we sell all the resources, we burn all the resources, and our children will not find.
This is very serious. It's very serious. People are coming, but I want them to be aware that we have to protect the place, and I don't want them to see as enemies, people who have this kind of thinking. I just want them to be careful. It's like a musical instrument. You can't just go bang, bang, bang. You have to go soft, on, you know, slowly, you know. Right. So what I think is my campaign is make people open their minds, you know, be less radical, be less, you know,
be more cautious and more caring.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, my background is studying humiliation and dignity, and I think you have already talked about that. And then we have, you know, we have launched the World Dignity University Initiative, and I would like to invite everybody to support you in your 3 projects that you have. The first would be to document how it was in the past here, to go around and interview people who are old enough to remember, and to write a book. This would be your first project.
Yes.
And we have Dignity Press, and it would be lovely to have your book with us. Then the second project was the laboratory that you already mentioned. And then the third would be to also make the culture from this area more known globally. And you know, I really would like to invite everybody globally to support you in that. And you just now said also that people could come here. As you know, we have this project or concept of a dialogue home that we ask everybody in our network, and we are about 1,000 members globally now. Whoever has a guest room to declare their house a dialogue home for our network members, so that all our network members have many homes around the world. And you said you would love to declare your home, and your parents would like it a dialogue home for our network.
Yes, I'd like to share this space we have here, my space. Well, it's not a 5-star hotel.
And I told you that, you know, people need to share, and if you live here, everybody can live here, you know.
Right. So if you want to come to Marabá, get to know the place, you'll be welcome here in our home. Stay with us and share a bit of our lives here. Come.
So what have we have discussed so much, and we always said, oh, we have to mention that in the video, and now we might have forgotten half of it. What do you remember still?
I remember I wanted to speak a little bit of us Brazilians, you know, how we started all this, a bit of our history. It is said in our book that the Portuguese discovered Brazil in the 1500s. Exactly 1500, and now I've heard that the Portuguese invaded Brazil in the 1500s. Well, I would say that the world is growing, and we all are in a way connected. Some want to connect in a good way, some in a bad way, right? And so from that, when Portuguese came, there were a lot of clashes, there were a lot of problems. They brought Africans from against their will into Brazil, and they tried to enslave the indigenous people, and there were these problems. And because of that, a lot of children born to indigenous girls of Portuguese parents, Portuguese fathers, they were expelled from the tribes, and the same thing happened to the African girls. And Brazil started that way, in a way that the children didn't have homes, and that because of that we have favelas in Rio. You know, all those Negro descendants still live there, like outcast, you know. And this caused these social problems we have here. But we are people that...
And Marabá is, the meaning of Marabá is child of a foreigner.
Yes, the name of our town means child of a foreigner. Marabá. And but we overcame a little bit of that feeling, and we are most welcoming. We like to welcome people into our lives. We like to make friendships. We like to speak of good, make life happier the way we can. Being friends, that's the way we think we could do best. And I think from people I've met or people I saw here in Brazil, they foreigners, I mean people from outside, they always see this, they say, you are warm-hearted and things. And I started wondering, why is that? And then I started reading about cultures, and I see how much people try to defend themselves. For example, in religious, they always say that my religion is better than yours, and all this causes problems. You know, this defending this, making their group better than the other, causes more problems than if they would say, right, we are part of a big system, God is one, I think my way, if I belong to this religion, you can belong to your religion, and we can be friends still. I don't have to invade your space and say you're wrong, because you're not wrong, you just think differently, you know. And from these point of views, like either you are Christian or Muslim or Buddhist or Protestant, or whichever way you think, like, it's an example, speaking of religion, we all can be friends, we all can share the world. That's the same thing if you are from, I don't know, Spain, if you are from some country in the east or the west. We all can be good friends. We don't need to overcome another with wars, because I don't believe in wars. You know, wars are just, I think, manipulation. You know, when people manipulate masses into wars. So that's what I think. I think now in unity we can be united. We can be one. We can be, just one country.
Yes, the principle of the World Dignity University is unity in diversity.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's celebrating diversity from a point of view of that we are united in sharing the value of equality in dignity, that we think we are equal in dignity. This unites us, and from there we celebrate diversity. And the diversity here in the Amazon, I agree with many people who say this is here the place, the tipping point. If we as a human family manage to protect the Amazon, the rest that it's still there, you know, after all this cutting destruction that I see here, you know, there is still something. If we manage to protect it, and with your help also remember, then we have a chance.
Yes.
As the world. So the Amazon at the moment is perhaps the most important part of this planet. So therefore, it's so important what you do, and you know, your contribution to the future of the next generations of this planet.
Yes.
So everybody, please support Hélio here in Marabá, Pará.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Evelin.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
wonderful.
you. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Yes. So we are now here having lunch, and we have wonderful juices that I have never tasted before. What are these juices?
This is cajá. Cajá.
And how does it look like when it is a fruit?
It's kind of oval. It's oval, and it's this color. It's all the color. It's inside. There's a kernel. It's kind of big.
What kind of tree or bush or?
It's a big tree, isn't it? It's a very big tree.
And this is your friend?
This is my friend Eric.
Hello.
Lovely. So it's a big tree, and then you have another cupuaçu, huh?
Yeah, this is cupuaçu. It's one of our prides in one of the fruits that people just love in Pará.
And is it with milk?
No, this one is just water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both are just juice. Mm-hmm. But you can add milk. Of course, it gets much more tastier. Tastier. Yeah.
Thank you. And what you normally eat, you say? This is what you eat for lunch?
This is our basic food. It's what we Brazilians eat most. It's rice and beans.
And this is all produced not here. It's coming from the south, I learned.
Yeah, normally comes from the south.
So you have to buy it.
We buy it at the supermarket.
And what is this?
This is chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the name is Kenga. It's the name of this dish.
Frango com milho verde.
Yeah, and
Molho de milho verde.
yeah, frango with chicken with corn, and here we have some salad, There's salad. Chouchou.
Chouchou? What is chouchou?
Chouchou is this green stuff.
Okay.
There's carrot, cauliflower, and
fugiu.
yes, couve.
Brócolis.
Couve.
Não, é
It's
couve.
couve, yeah. And his mango.
Mango.
Mango we mix with food
Wonderful.
normally.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Welcome
much.
everybody to have lunch with us.
Thank you.
Farinha de mandioca.
And here's farinha. Farinha is it's very appreciated here in the northern region of Brazil. Farinha
Yes.
is made of mandioca.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And then I think I will clip this together with the video we took on Sunday, where you opened the cacao fruit,
Right.
so that everybody gets a kind of taste of this region.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aqui, ó, tá preparando.
Here we are with Evelin, and she's showing us how to eat using your own hand.
Hélio's mother shows us how she has learned as a child to eat with her hands. And to me, this is the most civilized way of eating. To me, this is very, very barbarian, uncivilized, could say. And this is the elegance of how you do it. It's so wonderful. So,
Aí esse bolinho aqui a gente chamava o capitão.
and this, you have to translate. What did she say now?
They used to call this place captain.
Captain.
Yes.
É,
This.
aqui, ó.
So,
Capitão.
like we are making captain.
Viu? Aí a gente fazia, comia e dava para as crianças, né? Os pequenininhos, a mãe estava comendo aqui, fazendo e distribuindo para a meninada.
And you managed, I saw you started with a little bit of rice, huh?
Eric,
Você quer fazer?
please translate.
Okay, they used to make this food, prepare like this, and give to the children.
And how she made it.
Esse aí vai sair grosso.
Eric.
And now, what does she do now? No, I can't do it.
Huh?
She has to show how she gets from there to
Não quer
there.
fazer, não?
Can you say to her if she can show us how she gets from there to there?
Ela quer que tu mostre como
Como
disso
que-
aqui tu consegue chegar nisso.
Ah, aqui, ó.
So
You
she's
see,
mixing
I
the
admire
rice, the
so,
beans.
that always wherever I'm in Africa and in India, people have this elegance when they do it. It's an elegance. I mean, it's a kind of, the taste of the food. It's not only the taste; it's also the feel of the food that you get through this.
O pessoal na África tem uma certa elegância, né, na hora de preparar essa comida com a mão.
So to me, this is really a much more evolved way of eating than simply how this.
Não é só uma questão de sabor, mas que se envolve com a comida de fato, né? Tá tocando na comida.
Wow! Congratulations! Parabéns! Thank you so much. Thank you. So, Hélio, perhaps you can explain what this tree is about. I show it first.
This is the babaçu tree. It's a nut, and it used to be the main source of economical thing in the region. It produces oil, edible oil, and we call milk, vegetable milk. And now it's being produced, it's being cultivated for diesel, green diesel, as we call. And Brazil was funding this industry here in the region.
Thank you so much. Babaçu, huh?
Babaçu.
Babaçu. Thank you so much. And now we go and we look at the dog. It reminds me of my childhood when I grew up on a farm. Here we have the motorcycle. There was a dog on a chain at the entrance of the farm. And then I remember so well also the the time when we had a well, when water was taken out of a well. And then there's a lot of bricks. And it's a cacao, huh?
Cacao.
You open it, and what do you do now?
Now you just eat. Okay, this and yeah.
Chupa, né, Maria?
Yeah, you.
Não é bom isso, não. Pode engolir, mas só que se engolir muito caroço, né?
So this is where chocolate come from. You dry out this in the sun, and then you grind this thing, and the powder comes from this seed here.